Hey now, welcome to this guide to speedrunning downtown Nekketsu Monogatari Easy difficulty, where I'll be introducing you to more tech that will help you on your journey to mastering the various categories of River City Ransom. Once again, always play as Ryan or Riki on the right to minimise dialogue, and press down and left to select fast text speed and easy mode respectively, but this time ignore all enemies and run straight to Roxy or Hasebe. I'll take this opportunity to list all the relevant region differences. Most important is the price of shop items. We won't bother with lamb legs anymore, but Stone Hand or Maha Punch is now 3,000 yen. This isn't as big a problem as it seems, since gangs and bosses drop more money on average. The Death Warp still costs half your money, but in this version it is rounded down to the nearest 50 yen rather than 5 cents. Finally, for some reason, you can't jump off tires, crates and trash cans by pressing up or down. That's all, apart from the graphical differences. Collect the crate in the pre-warehouse, and remember to not cross the line in the warehouse until the second pair of enemies have spawned. The Rocco, or Nishimura fight, is the most technical part of this run, and will become an essential part of every category from now on, but you'll need to invest some time to get it down. Make sure not to run off the side of the ledge, and try to connect the flying crate throw as far back on Rocco as possible. Then walk right a little and let him walk into the crate recoil, and after waiting a split second, running kick the crate into him for a third and final hit. Then tap down quickly and walk yourself into the crate recoil. Finally, you can now perform Rocco's modern Death Warp by picking up the crate, walking briefly to the right, and then running jump left, and immediately throwing the crate into yourself, landing right on Rocco's coin. After the Death Warp, jump past the pit to activate Floating State and run to Blade, or Kinoshita, where we will implement another new tech, the Redash. Open the fight with a running kick, followed by one neutral kick, then move into position to pick Blade up and tap left. Pick up Blade and don't press anything until he jumps out of your hands. Then pick up the chain, and when he's about to land, press left A, then wait and press left A. Finish him off with a running chain throw while he's on the ground. Pick up the chain and collect the coin before running all the way to Turk, or Mochizuki. While you're still getting used to Easy JP, make sure to pick up the chain if you drop it on the way, but leave it behind when you start grinding for PBs. Just make sure to activate Floating State as you're leaving the tunnel. Typically, you'll have 1200 yen after the Death Warp. The money management in the JP port is substantially less consistent than its US counterpart, but you can use this chart to see if you'll be able to afford Stone Hands at the next mall. Turk can be taken out in just 3 hits. All you need to do is a Floating State Redash chain strike, followed by a running chain throw. A metal pipe will also work. Here is the chart showing the relative damage for all attacks. Note that floating and flying attacks increase the tier by 1 and 2 respectively, and running attacks additionally increase the tier by 4. Mojo, or Taida, requires 4 hits, but the second hit must be delayed or he'll be knocked over. So open with a running chain strike, then wait for a split second, and follow up with 2 neutral chain strikes to knock him over. Then finish him off with a running chain throw. If you're short on cash to buy Stone Hands, pick up the chain and reload Mojo's room to grind the remainder after collecting his coin. Alternatively, you can keep the chain for Thor, or Kobayashi, and buy Stone Hands in the last mall instead. The rest of the run is similar to what you learned in the Stone Hands first route, but I'll show you how to optimize the next few boss fights. If you listen carefully, you can hear whether 1, 2, or 3 of the Stone Hands punches land or miss, and act accordingly. Thor will go down if all 6 punches land, but if you miss one, you can use a backup by holding right during the second round of Stone Hands, and picking up the Knuckles, then neutral Knuckles throw into Thor while he's on the ground. It's recommended to assume that you'll miss one, and do this anyway, since it doesn't cost any time. Run through the mall and activate Floating State as you pass the sauna. Ivan, or Gorda, is the first boss with a willpower phase. You need to land 7 out of 9 floating punches to get him into his willpower phase, and just the last punch is enough to finish the 4th and final round of Stonehands. Otis, or Onizuka, is a bit more complex if you want to beat him optimally. Open with a flying Stonehands from a high jump, and face left as soon as you land, then pick him up and throw him left. Then a running Stonehands will finish him off if all the punches land. He doesn't have a willpower phase, so when you get good at counting your landed punches, you won't even need to wait for him to hit the floor before you start making your way upstairs. Just make sure that you actually throw Otis and that he doesn't jump out of your hands like Blade did, or else he won't take any damage. It's recommended that you time your throw input rather than mashing B to maximise your consistency. Once you get to the top floor, make sure to do a high jump at the first poster to activate floating state before the Dragon Twins, or Ryuichi and Ryuji. If you haven't already implemented the twins dialogue skip, now is the time to do it. Position yourself between them and face left after the 3rd round of Stonehands, and neutral Stonehand Binny when he stands up, then face right and neutral Stonehands Jimmy. Simon, or Slick, or Yamada, has 2 rounds of willpower. You can achieve a 5-round fight by throwing the pipe at him after the 3rd round, but it's not much slower to just hammer away with Stonehands until he's defeated. This route is a lot of fun, since you can take a huge beating and just shrug it off, so it's a great way to ease into performing redashes and optimal boss fights. It's honestly a bit of a shame that this difficulty was removed from the international ports of the game, but it's the perfect category to race in the series, like the Heads Up Best of 21 match where I competed with Seiria, current Easy JP world record holder by 4 frames, and commentated by Yelsraek. I encourage you to watch through the match to see how the strategies discussed should be implemented in your runs. The next tutorial will see us return to Novice, where we'll clean up the platforming in the run and learn all the cool boss fights. Don't forget to join our Discord. Thanks for watching and take care.